Hey, Andy.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Great. Are you
You doing good?
Sorry, I think everybody was talking at once. Kind of hard to hear.
Hey, Andy, how does it feel to be a Cowboy?
It feels good. I wouldn't have thought that this would have happened a couple months ago, but for me, I'm excited. I know my family's excited. Everybody's happy to be back in Texas.
When you say you wouldn't have expected it,
Go ahead.
Hello?
Andy, when did the Cowboys become a realistic option for you?
I think once I became I got released and I became a free agent, it was just looking at all the different teams and, trying to find the best landing spot for me that was going to set me up for my future. And so, as soon as I became a free agent, just looking at all the teams, that the Cowboys were one of those that, I felt like, I probably could have an opportunity to come to, just from looking at the situation with just across the league, and I felt like I could come in here and help this team win. Obviously, help Dak out as much as I can. Obviously, I'll bring a lot of experience. I wanted to join an organization that high class, ran the right way, has a great coach. Coach has been around a ton of great quarterbacks, Hall of Famers, all that. Come here, learn as much as I can, and hopefully this sets me up for my future.
Is there a different mindset coming in and being is there a different mindset coming in and being a backup quarterback, and how comfortable are you knowing that you're not going to be the starter?
Right, this is my first time going through that, coming in knowing that I'm not going to be the starter. Fortunately for me, I've been around a lot of great backup quarterbacks, guys that have helped me out, and so in my mindset is I'm going to be try to be the biggest asset for this team, try to help out this offense, help out Dak, help out everybody as much as I can, and so. Obviously, it's a different perspective for me since I've been a starter the last 9 years. But, I understand the position I'm coming into and the role that I'm going to play.
When you say set me up for the future, what do you hope that future is?
I believe I'm a starter in this league, and I feel like I can bring a lot to the table. And so just with everything, I know I'm on a 1-year deal. I know I understand the market's going to be a little bit different next off season, and so for me, it's just I'm trying to set myself up and put myself in the best position for the second half of my career. And so when weighing all the different options and the things that I had available, I felt like this is a perfect fit for me, and it's going to set me up to do all that.
Andy, can you speak to, and maybe this is the Cowboys or maybe this is just the NFL, but the idea that there's going to be a quarterback controversy. Does it amuse you? Is it the nature of the beast? What are your thoughts there?
I think that's a lot of everybody else. I know the situation I'm going into. Dak has played really well, and I knew the situation that I'm coming into. I think because I've been a starter in this league, I've won a lot of games and have put some really good seasons together. I think that's just everybody on the outside is going to view it that way. But Dak's a starter on this team, and I'm here. If for some reason, if anything were to happen for him to go down, I'm going to be able to step in and do everything I can to help this team win.
Andy, did COVID-19 play any role in you wanting to sign closer to home?
I wouldn't say it played a role in it. Obviously, it's an advantage for me to not have to move, already having a house here in Dallas. And so, but I mean, that wasn't a deciding factor on anything. I think it's definitely a luxury knowing that I'm going to be able to stay at home, but that wasn't the biggest factor involved in all this.
Andy, your name was mentioned with the New England Patriots. Any talks with them?
Yeah, I had several other options on the table, and for me, I just felt like this coming here to Dallas was the best fit for me.
Andy, when you had that conversation with Mike McCarthy after being released, what was that conversation about, and what questions did you have for him when trying to find the next best spot?
Yeah, I think it's just getting to know him. Just talking. We talked a lot of different things. Just from a fundamental standpoint to offense, to, how he views the team and how he's going to run it. Obviously he's been around some really good teams, really good quarterbacks, and the offensive mindset that he has to play for an offensive coach that has done it at a high level, has won a Super Bowl, and I think all of that kind of plays into part when with talking with him and making the decision to come here.
Andy, can you talk a little bit more about your decision? Because like you said, someone who has started and had the level of success you've had in this league for such a long time wouldn't necessarily be willing to step back and take a year of learning, if you will, before going forward again. So can you talk a little bit more about why this is the right time for you to do that?
Yeah, I think just looking at the big picture of everything, I'm thinking about this next half of my career. This is year 10 for me, and so I think just with everything that was kind of involved and the timing of it and being a free agent when I was, I think this is the best decision for me and for my family to know that getting to join a great organization that on a team that's ready to win and is going to win a lot of games. So I think that's kind of what was the position that I was facing. I felt like just with a couple of the opportunities I had, I felt like this was going to be a good fit to back, learn, and that's what we're going forward after this year.
Andy,
have you had the opportunity to connect with Dak yet since you signed with the Cowboys?
I've sent him a text, just reaching out, and that's been about it.
Andy, when you say you talk about the second half of a career, is part of that when you look at some of your contemporaries around the league and see them playing into their late 30s and even into their 40s?
Yeah, I feel like I've got a lot of good football left. And so, I think, for me, it's, I've got to think about the next 10 years. Is it going to be 10 years? I don't know. But, that's just the mindset that I have. Is I've got to put myself in the best position for the next 10 years of my life and my career.
Andy, if you wouldn't mind sharing, when you reached out to Dak Prescott, what was your message and did he respond?
He did respond, and I just told him I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to help him out any way that I can. And so that was it. He just, it wasn't anything big. Just appreciate it. Excited working with him.
Andy, when you came into the league, there was a lockout, and you weren't around a team. How is this different now, 10 years later, and having to learn virtually? I don't know if you've been in meetings yet with Kellen and Coach Nussmeier or anything this week, but what was it like then and what's it like now?
Yeah, I think, when I came in for that lockout year, it was a little different. It was, all right, here's the playbook, and we'll see you when this thing's over. So we couldn't talk with any of the coaches or any of that. So, so that was and obviously going into a rookie year, you're in a lot different mindset than you are when you're going in year 10. I understand a lot more about the NFL now than I did 10 years ago. So, I guess the advantage now is there's still these virtual meetings, so you're able to connect and talk through the offense and talk through different things and stuff that I didn't have whenever I came out my rookie year and during that lockout.
Can you give us any more kind of insight to that particular thing right there, or is it sort of too new? These virtual meetings, what they're like, sort of what your day is like and trying to interact with coaches and new teammates, and particularly with being with a new team and trying to learn a new system?
Yeah, I mean, right now for me, I've just been meeting with Doug Nussmeier and just kind of going over the basics of the offense. Obviously, it's early right now, and there's still a lot of time to learn everything. Now I'm trying to get on top of it as quick as I can. But, it would be just like you've seen in the quarterback meeting room. They're just doing it over, over the computer or over, with the different services that you have.
How difficult will it be?
How much did you talk to Coach Patterson about this decision? And I'm assuming you've talked to him since he's made the decision to come to Dallas.
Yeah, I talked to him once the decision was made, and so I'm happy to be back in Texas. He's happy for me to be back down here, and hopefully if things start to open up a little bit and things get back to a normal schedule, get to see TCU a little bit more than I did being up in Cincinnati.
Andy, when you look at the different weapons you guys have on this offense, have you been on a team this stacked? And talk a little bit about the guys you have to work with should you be on the field with these receivers, running backs, offensive line?
Yeah, I've been a part of some really good teams. This group of skill position players is I think is going to be pretty special. And same with the group up front. When I think people talk about the Dallas Cowboys and talk about how good their line is up front. And for the run game was Zeke, and adding CD Lamb to the skill position group, Amari, and these other guys. I feel like this would be a very explosive offense, and a lot of guys that can play a key role in this.
Andy, what are your thoughts on Kellen Moore, a guy you competed against when he played at Boise and you played at TCU?
Yeah, Kellen, he's a smart guy, and he's obviously. I haven't been around him a ton. I've obviously talked to him several times, but he's obviously really smart. It goes from playing a position to go right into coaching, and then have quickly become an offensive coordinator. I think it just shows the trust that people have in him, and so just after a couple of days of looking at the offense, I'm excited about what we have here, and looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Can you detail a little bit
Andy,
more?
I know you mentioned that you still believe you're a starter in this league, and this is to you the beginning of the next half of your career. But when you look at what guys like Kellen and some other Cowboys coaches have done, do you have an interest in coaching down the line when you are done playing?
No, I don't know if that's in my future or not. Obviously, I've got a lot of knowledge of the game of football, and but I don't plan on hopping into coaching like some of these guys did.
Can you detail a little bit about how Dallas feels like home for not just you, but your wife, your children? Kind of paint the picture a little bit of just Dallas as something of a return to home with this opportunity.
Yeah, we have owned a home here for a while. We lived in Fort Worth. We lived in Dallas. And so this is where we spent our off season. And I got my wife's family. They're up in Richardson. I've got the brother and sister-in-law in Thailand. I've got my brothers and sister-in-law are in Fort Worth. So it's like I've got a lot of family around here. My immediate family, they're in the Houston area. My parents and my sister, they're in Katy, but just to come back to Texas, come back to Dallas, we've got a lot of ties here, a lot of roots. Spent a lot of my life over this way, so it definitely feels nice to be coming home.
Is your parents ever?
Is there something about you talking about resetting career to some degree in terms of preparing for that second half? Is there something to just doing that at home that you think mentally is kind of exactly what you need?
Well, it's obviously very nice that it gets to be at home. It's like you're not having to learn a new place, not having to learn a new city, how to get around, all that kind of stuff. Just get to, shoot, it feels like home. So, that's definitely a luxury with this.
Did your parents ever give you grief about picking this area over that area?
No, they haven't. Yeah, they love both areas. We like it up here.
You've been very active with your foundation, and a lot of that work is centered in the Cincinnati area. Do you plan on do you plan on migrating some of that into Dallas Fort Worth area, or what are your intentions there?
Yeah, that'll be a transition for us. I don't know exactly if we'll be doing the same stuff that we were doing in Cincinnati, just because we were established there for so long. But, we'll definitely be getting involved in the community. That's something that's very important to my wife and I and my family. And so we'll find different ways that we can serve and help and give back to this community.
Hey, Andy, do you plan on reaching out at all to any of the guys? You talked about this being a new situation for you. Have you thought about reaching out to quarterbacks who've been starters for a long time that became backups that you might be familiar with over your time? I'm thinking specifically of a guy like Kitna, who was in Cincinnati, started, and Detroit started, Seattle and things. Didn't know if you'd reach out to guys and say, hey, what am I about to go through here?
No, yeah, I haven't. I know John, and I obviously he has been with the Cowboys several times, and so that probably would be a resource. I have not reached out to anybody though. No.
Andy, you posted that video with your kids throwing you the ball. You throwing it. Talk a little bit about what you've been doing in the off season with all the restrictions to stay in shape, and how nice has it been to be able to do some of that with your kids?
Yeah, I try to get them involved as much as I can with everything. Fortunately, I've got a good setup here at my house with a weight room and some space to throw and some different things. So now I'm just trying to do everything I can to stay in shape. But my routine didn't really change because I already worked out at my house and did different things right around here. So it was a smooth transition for me.
All right, guys, we got time. This is the last one right here.
When you're a backup quarterback, you have to prepare to be a starter. That's the only way to go about it. And so in some sense, your approach won't change. How do you take advantage of the limited or just, the new world that we're all living in to ensure that by week one, you're ready from a starter standpoint, even if that's not your role?
Yeah, I'm going to prepare the same way that I have. I think that's one thing for me. I feel like I've got a really good routine with how, I study the opponent and go about each week. And so, that's nothing's going to change from my preparation just because, when I'm going as a starter. I know the role that I'm in, but I've got to be ready to play. That's one thing that you see across the league. The backup is one play away from getting in there. So you better know what you're doing. So, from a preparation standpoint, nothing's going to change. I'm preparing like I'm going to play each Sunday.
Well, thank you, Andy. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Andy.
Yes, you got it.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.